It's not that you can't be sexy. It's how are you choosing to be sexy?
Being sexy is my creative expression. It has no correlation to how many people I sleep with or how many men are on my line.
I think on a subconscious level, sometimes women want to be lied to. Let me explain. You're with your girl, right?
Yeah.
And she goes, babe, if I was a hamster, would you still love me? What does the guy say? Of course, baby.
Of course I would.
You would be mine forever.
And do you see why I need a man that has a strong sense of self?
Yo guys, welcome back to another episode on my channel. I'm sitting in this spot, which means I've got a great conversation lined up for you today. You know, on this channel, we like to talk about all things dating and relationships and seeing what we can do to attract the kind of person we want. So without further ado, please welcome Loyce to the show.
Yay.
Loyce.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me here.
I know, it's been a minute. We were trying to get you on for a few months, I feel.
Yes.
Like we've been liaison, it's just never lined up.
Yeah.
But here you are.
I'm the one that entered the DMs.
Yeah.
And I was
listen.
like, I want to be part of this because I like conversations, you know?
100%. Go after what you want. Do you know what I mean?
Thank you.
So I want us to jump straight in. So tell us your age or your age range. And there's something about you that a guy should know if you want to take you on a date.
Ooh. Okay. I'm Loyce, as you guys know. I'm 32.
Okay.
And one thing a guy needs to know about me is take me out on a date.
What should he know about you?
What he should know about me. Oh, this is such a good question.
That's why I asked it.
That I have a really big personality. He needs to know that. So if he's going to take me out, make sure he shows up as in who he is.
Okay.
Because I can very easily bring all the energy and the light to the party and the conversations. And because someone enjoys me so much, they think it was great, you know. And I can almost trick myself into thinking I've had a good time.
Okay.
And then I walk away and I'm like, wait, hold on. What did the person actually bring?
You're like, I had a great time, but did I like who they were?
Yeah, I liked who I was when I was with them. Do you know what I mean? That's what it is that I walk away with. So I know it's like quite a long-winded answer, but it's honestly the truth.
I get that. So are you, when you go into social environments, are you used to being like center of attention? Is that kind of the spot you naturally sit in that sense?
Yeah. Yeah. As in like, and I don't even mean it in like a vein, like everybody look at me.
No, of course.
It's not that. I just think there's a freedom that I've learned to find with myself. And so like, for example, if I go out, I don't mind being in the middle, having a good time, and people see that and they see it as magnetic and they're like, wow, but it's just because sometimes people don't give themselves permission to
100%.
really be free and authentic. So
yes.
I just have an authenticity about me.
Yeah. No, it's definitely, you know, I think there's a big difference between, wanting to be the center of attention and that's your personality. And then your personality is what makes you the center of attention.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. I'm not a class clown. I don't need to do all of that. I don't need to seek attention. It just happens to come. So yeah, you're right.
Have you ever had it where, because I think sometimes people, men and women, there's something we find attractive in someone that really draws us to them. And then when we get into a relationship with them, we're like, oh, this thing that I found very attractive, the thing that comes with it.
That makes me want to kill you.
I'm not happy about it. So like, let's say being center of attention, right? Maybe a guy sees you, he's like, I love her vibe, her energy, you know, is very drawn to you. You get with him and then he's like, no, I want you to stop being center of attention.
Exactly.
Now. Has that happened to you before?
That's why I'm single. That's why I'm single. I can't seem to find a man that is okay with me being me, as in like, and they are fully comfortable with who they are too. You know, oh, absolutely. I mean, that was definitely in my marriage. I will say that. There was a lot of that. And I genuinely say to women that just be careful when a guy knows you're lit sometimes. They don't want you to know it. And then the behaviors are inconsistent and now you're doubting yourself. You know, so I've been in that position many times where a man's behavior has made me question myself and what I bring and everything. And then you realize that, oh, you were actually a leech draining my energy.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
What is the difference between still showing up as who you are, but then making appropriate compromises on how you would move when you're single to respect the relationship? Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what's the difference? Because I guess, you know, an argument a guy can make is, okay, well, when you met me, I was sleeping with multiple different women. So when we get into a relationship, Why are you expecting me to change that? That's who I am. That's my authenticity. Right?
Oh, okay.
But we all make compromises for the
Yeah.
benefit of the relationship. So what's the balance between that?
Do you know what? I honestly, that's a good question in the sense of, I think it depends on if whatever you're doing affects the intimacy in your relationship.
Say more.
So for example, if I go out
Mhm.
and I dance, I'm a dancer as well, and I dance and I'm in the middle, I'm the center of attention, but I've not danced with a man. I've not disrespected you in any way. I've been with my girls, but I'm just still the
Could be
center.
depending how you're dancing. He could feel disrespected. So like, for example, like if you're dancing with your girls and you're chilling, that's fine. But if a man is like, oh, this is the woman I'm going to see, the mother of my children.
Yeah.
And you're out there twerking your ass out, he's not going to be happy with that. Most men aren't.
True. But then the man needs to ask himself exactly what he's not happy about.
I can tell you.
Because this thing of, you're a mother, you should, I don't know why there's this image of mother has to be at home in the kitchen, prim and proper dress. Hi, honey, you're home now? Dinner's served. Like, no, I'm a woman. I'm multifaceted.
Of course.
And if you don't let me get my steam out over here with my girls and dance the night away and not disrespect you, I'm going to start to resent you.
I understand that. And I guess there is an element of, you know, which kind of man is going to be completely okay with that. But what it is, I don't think it's like, oh, if you're a mother or a wife, then you have to be at home staying with the kids. It's more, with that title comes a level of respect and expectation to maintain that respect.
Yeah.
And so that's why I said it's not that you dancing in the middle is an issue, but how you're dancing for sure can make the difference between you just having a nice time with your girls and he's cool with that, and then you doing something in a way that he feels is portraying that is disrespectful to you. And our partner represents us, so that's going to be disrespectful to him. So the truth is, like, yeah, if there's a girl and she's like twerking with her ass out and stuff in the middle of the dance floor, guys will look at it and be like, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and not get to touch it.
Fine, but
all they can do is wow.
But that doesn't mean that doesn't mean they respect it though. And in fact, it's actually the opposite.
That's okay. As in, do you know what it is? I think my perspective might be different because I'm a dancer. So for me, like, being sexy is my creative expression. It has no correlation to how many people I sleep with or how many men are on my line. It's literally creative expression. So I think that's why I'm like, if you've met me doing this and you know that this is the way, like, this is my outlet or this is how I have fun, then and yeah, why do you assume I'm going to use it now to disrespect you? Like, how can Jay-Z have a Beyonce or Rihanna have a A$AP Rocky if everyone's going to be getting upset about their partner's, like, creative expression?
So I agree with you.
Yeah.
But it's not that you can't be sexy. It's how are you choosing to be sexy? So for example, Beyonce is sexy. I don't think anyone would combat that. But I've never seen her out here twerking with her ass out the way Nicki Minaj is, the way Cardi B is. I've never seen that of her. And she wouldn't do that because she has a level of...
So you think she does it in a way that's quite classy?
Of course. We both agree Beyonce is sexy.
Yeah.
Like, remember, you know the Miss Independent video where she's dancing with those 3 women? Iconic video.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
One of the sexiest female performances in a music video of all time.
Fair.
She's not there dancing with her ass out. She's not there twerking like that. So it's not about, oh, you can't be sexy. Because if you're like, this is part of my creative expression, of course. But how you choose to do it can very much affect how a man's respect is for you.
I hear you.
Because the thing is, it's like, I'm not saying this is the same thing. Depends, I guess, what you're wearing. But it's like when guys go to the strip club, they enjoy looking at the half-naked women dancing or even naked women dancing. They enjoy that. Women, they're expressing themselves. Is he going to put a ring on it though? Probably not. Does he have respect for her as a potential serious partner? Most likely not. And the kind of, now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there are some guys who would choose that woman to marry and etc. because that's just his thing, right? But I'm talking about, and this is a generalization, but the kind of man most women say that they want, that they talk about is their dream man. That man has a level of standards and expectations. If he respects himself, he's going to choose a woman he feels respects herself and will respect the relationship. Does that make sense? So I don't think it's about that you can't be sexy, but I think how you go about it can really make the difference.
Do you know what? I absolutely hear you. And I think this conversation is good because you're showing how you would be. I feel like if you met a woman that was like that, you would be open to a conversation where you both can figure out who's happy with what and what works. A lot of men will just say, cut it, and that's it. There's no conversation. Because I don't know if men have the tact or I don't know if men know they even feel things sometimes to even have the conversation, say, babe, what you're doing makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable. I think it would just be stop. And that's what I've experienced.
I hear that.
So stop.
If I'm talking personally for me, depends what she's doing. But let's use the example I said about strippers, right?
Yeah.
I just wouldn't get into a relationship with that woman. So I wouldn't be like, oh, I really like who she is. I'm attracted to her.
Oh, let's compromise.
Let me
on
try
this.
and have a conversation to see if she can adjust this. I'd be like, okay, cool. This is who she is.
Yeah.
I'm not here to try and change her. Right? It's not my job to do that. So I would just go, okay, cool. She's not compatible for the kind of person that I'm looking for. And that's okay.
I hear you. Again, you know yourself.
Yeah, but
you're not actually representing majority of men.
Maybe,
That's the only way I can put it. Let me give you an example, yeah?
Go for it.
So there was a dance video that I did with a guy. Yeah, the guy was a lot younger than me. I told you I'm 32. This guy was early 20s.
Okay.
Yeah. So we did a dance together and I was seeing someone at the time and it was quite serious. And I told him, I said, I'm just letting you know I'm meeting up with this person. We're going to do a dance together. And he was like, yeah, no problem. And I said, we're going to do this dance. I showed him and he was like, cool. After the video was done, I've posted it. He was fine. He was fine with it. Then a friend of his poked at him. All right. Guess who he takes out on? Me. Stops talking to me. Now he's upset. And now I'm like, I don't even know what to do. But this video is also gaining a lot of traction because it reached 1 million. Do you get what I'm saying?
Congratulations.
So you can, thank you. So I'm there thinking 1 million people have seen me dance. But now I'm carrying a man's emotions who told me he was going to be okay with something. And then it turns out he wasn't okay. And the friend teased or whatever. And now we've had an argument because of it. Do you know what I mean? And that's when I started thinking, I don't know if I can do this with someone. Because even when I'm respectable and I tell you and I give you a heads up, there's still a problem. You know?
I hear you.
Yeah.
So what in that situation, you did everything right.
Oh,
and it was, yeah, you did for sure. Like, because you let him know ahead of time. You're like, this is the dance. He's like, I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
Right. And that was on him because he let somebody trigger him. And then he brought that to you. It should have been on him because if he was okay with it and if he'd made that peace with himself, then it's on him. Even if his friend's poking at him, it's on him
no,
to...
she's good. She's patterned. I know she's cool. Like,
yeah. Or it's even him for be like, yeah, joke about it, but you know, water off a duck's back.
It literally became, did your body's contact? It looked like your bum touched. And I was like, oh my gosh, are you forgetting this kid is younger than me? Like, I'm not even attracted to him in that way.
But
I know for him it was like, but I think it was the comments as well. Like, oh my gosh, like people just like the chemistry or whatever.
Should I tell you what I think it would have been? Do you know what actually probably made the biggest difference?
What?
Was that it was a public thing.
Yeah.
If it was behind closed doors when nobody knew, like it'd be a blip. Wouldn't even be a mountain hill. He'd be like, okay, I don't really like it, but no one else is seeing it. It's not gaining tractions. I don't have to see these comments. Blah 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 blah.
And do you see why I need a man that has a strong sense of self?
I think...
And it's going to be hard for me to find.
Shall I tell you what? I don't think it's a strong sense of self because you can have a man who's a strong sense of self and he would just be like, this isn't the woman for me.
Yeah, I get you.
So it's more about finding a man who's just accepting of it. Because like, for example, like, you know, there are, you know, some girls who like do OnlyFans and they're doing the most and they'll find guys that are like, okay, like he accepts it, right? So there are guys who will accept it, but the guys that most women say that they want usually isn't that guy.
And guess what that guy does? He goes and marries the one that his mum will be happy with and then cheats on her with the one in the strip club.
Which guy?
The guys you're talking about. These guys that, they won't marry her. They won't with the girls that are out there twerking.
Yep.
They're going to marry the one that the mum's happy with, take her home, and then cheat on her with the Nicki Minaj's of the world.
So I hear that, and I'm not saying that's right. But in that scenario, which woman won? The one who has the ring, has his name, has the house, has the kids, or the one who got his dick for one night?
None of them have won.
Really?
I don't want to be a wife whose man is stepping out on me like
I'm not
that,
saying it's.
but
I'm not saying
I'm
it's
the winner because I have his kids.
No, I'm not
I don't
saying.
want to give you that.
I'm
honor.
not saying it's. I'm not saying it's right because if he says, "Babe, it's just you and me and we're exclusive,"
Yeah,
he should stand by that 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying in the big picture, who's in a better position? I'm not saying it's nice, and I'm not saying it's right, and I'm not saying what he did is okay. But if you're saying that you would rather be able to twerk, etc., so you have the opportunity to be the girl that he cheats on, as opposed to moving it away. No. To be the girl that he cheats with.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like what you're saying is, oh well, a girl who's moving this way, he's still gonna come and indulge in her. I'm like, yeah, that might be the case, but that is
She's
not validation
not being chosen,
for her.
basically.
Say again.
She's still not being chosen, basically.
She's not being chosen.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying, but
that
that wife at home as well, her trust has been shattered and she'll never be the same again. So is she the winner? That's what I'm trying to say. I feel like there's just a lot of policing on women. I'm not saying, girls, get your tits out, twerk, be naked on the streets and do what you want. That's not what I'm saying. I'm a mom myself. I've been a wife. Do you know what I mean? I know what it means to be honored in front of people, you know? But what I'm getting at more so is people just giving each other the freedom to be who they want to be.
It's funny because it's interesting you say that you feel like women are being policed, but actually women are the most sexually free and expressive than they've ever been. I think what's happening...
Yeah, and they still get a lot of shame for it though. It's not really being accepted. But I think women are just pushing it out there. I think it's sexy reds just don't care. They don't give a damn about what people think anymore.
So I think it's being accepted by society, but I think what's happening is a lot of those women are going, why am I not being chosen by men? Why am I not being the man why am I not being the woman who's being chosen for commitment, for investment, for the ring? And men are saying, well, this is why. They're not saying that. They're not out here going like, every woman who's twerking their ass out, you got to stop and stay at home. They're not saying that. They're just like, yeah, do your thing. But if you're saying that you want something from me, right? Like, this is what it takes for me to choose. Like, because women are the gatekeepers for sex and physical intimacy, but men are the gatekeepers for commitment and relationships and marriage. So ultimately, if I take an interest in you and I want to be physical with you, I have to show that I'm the kind of candidate that you would want to be physical with, right? And if I don't, then you'd be like, you're not for me. Likewise, if you're wanting commitment and investment from a man, right, then you have to show that you are the kind of person that he would want to choose. And that's down to him. So we have the freedom to do what we want. And I'm not saying people should be shamed, right? Unless they're doing something, wrong, etc. You should guide behavior for good behavior. Like, you have the freedom to do what you want, but that doesn't mean that you're entitled to be chosen, because no one is.
You're right.
Like, men aren't entitled to be chosen. And in fact, most men are not chosen. Most men are not chosen.
But they're the gatekeepers of relationships and commitment, right?
It's more that they're not chosen for the opportunity.
That's very interesting.
Like, okay.
So what's happening then? What's going on in the dating market? Because let's be honest, it's rubbish. It's like no one's really happy.
Okay.
And as someone who's done therapy, I genuinely feel like I'm in the driver's seat of my life now. It's the only way I can put it. I feel like I know who I am. I know what's going on inside. Of course, I won't entirely know everything. There's always going to be blind spots and things. But being someone who's been in therapy and then going out there into the dating world, you just realize how many people just don't even know what's going on inside of themselves and how wounded they are and all that kind of stuff.
Very true.
People stop at love languages and think that they've done the work. And it's like, no, what about your attachment style, for example?
Very true.
So
I think there's multiple components that's happening in the dating market, if you will. The first thing, because of social media and dating apps, we now live in a globalized dating market. So before, back in the day, you would only be choosing from the men in your village.
Now you can pond, right?
Exactly. Now you can get access to the rapper in LA, the producer in France, the director in Australia. You can match with all these people and you can meet those people.
Yeah.
Now, what that's done is that has essentially given women the access to high quality men that maybe they would never actually get access to. And it's also given men the access to high quality women, right?
Yeah.
But the difference is, unless a man has an abundance of financial capability, so i.e. he's rich, that he's willing to splash out a lot, there's nothing he can do to get the engagement of a very high quality woman. For women, it's not the case. Women can use sex to get access to high quality guys who would never actually consider her seriously. But then what's happening is that woman keeps doing that. So she keeps indulging sexually with guys who would never actually choose her seriously. And she's thinking, all I have to do is lock down one of these men and I'm good.
Is that what you really think?
But the unfortunate reality is that those men are just indulging in her for sexual play. And where more her standard, her level is, right? Now that guy who's actually her level looks unattractive to her because she's so used to indulging with these kinds of men.
That's a very interesting
And I really want to differentiate. There's a difference between what I call the caliber of a man and the quality of a man.
Okay.
The caliber of a man refers to what he is on paper. Tall, attractive, successful, financial abundance, intelligent, capable. The quality of a man refers to his character. Is he intentional with you? Does he make you feel safe? Is he considerate of you and your emotions? Right? Does he say something and do it? Is he a man of his word? Man of loyalty? You can have a man who's very high caliber but very low quality. Equally,
absolutely.
you can have a man who's medium low caliber, but very high quality. So when I'm referring to when a woman is using sex to get men who would not take her seriously, it gives her access to the top caliber men, but she's not focused on the quality. When as a woman, you start looking at the quality, you would never accept a man who's not willing to invest in you seriously.
Yeah.
And a lot of that has to do with self-worth and self-esteem, because what happens is when you have that level of self-worth for yourself, when a man isn't treating you how you see yourself, you would not accept that. So if you're dating a guy, but he only calls you after 9 p.m., he's never going out with you in public, right? You've been sleeping with him for a certain amount of time. You're like, hey, what are we? He's like, oh, we're just seeing how it goes, i.e. he's not giving you commitment, right? You know you want a relationship and exclusivity, he's not giving that. You know that when you make plans, sometimes he'll bail on you. He's not considerate of your emotions. He's not considerate of how you're feeling. He is demonstrating low quality, but because he's so high caliber, because he's really attractive and he's really successful and he's really eligible, women will stay.
That is a very good point. But I think it's a slightly different reason why women do stay.
Go on, tell me your thoughts.
And I think, honestly, it's wounding. They want to now prove to themselves that this person can like me. Sort of the fact that they're getting some rejection actually ends up creating some sort of obsession in them. See, now my take on the social media thing, because you've definitely hit the nail on the head. Like, social media has created this weird world where it's a small world. Now, I can possibly DM Beyonce and she might respond to me. Do you know what I mean? It's that, like, what's a celebrity now? Before, celebrities were known for what they did. Now, an influencer is a celebrity. Is it A-list? Is it Z-list? I don't know.
Yeah.
Jada Wader, what does she do? I don't know. I have no bad blood. Like, I don't hate her, but what does she do? I don't know. Is she a celebrity? Is she not? But she goes to the high fashion events, all of that. You know, it's created this weird thing. But for me, I think social media has just created the illusion of options.
It has.
Created the illusion. And like you said, people still don't really get access to certain caliber of people, but it feels like it's still in my reach. So I'm going to keep trying. Like you said, the girl shoots her shot with many different guys to see which one will stick. The truth is, your market is still small, but social media has given you the illusion that you can get these people. You know, and then the other issue is we all have profiles online. we basically are performing for each other every single day.
Very
We
true.
have an audience. I went to Pure Gym. Yeah, I work at my gym. Go to the gym at my workplace. I had to go Pure Gym because my school was closed. And when I say the amount of cameras I saw out, the amount of tripods I saw out, I was like, people just want to be seen so much.
Yes.
Back in the day, you knew what someone did with their life by looking at their family photo album. Oh, you went to Spain when you were 6. No, now we vicariously live through each other all the time.
Very true.
And we're kind of forced to do it, but we also want to do it because we create profiles to watch each other. Do you know what I mean? It's this weird world where I feel like so many people want to present themselves as single. And I don't know why. I don't know why.
Because
People
and maybe you can
see.
tell me what you think the man's perspective is. I think for women, the reason it helps if they're portraying themselves to be available online is because it brings opportunities. It also...
But people do it even when they're in a relationship though. What's
But
going
that's
on?
what I mean though.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So for example,
Again,
if a
the
girl's like a
illusion of
big...
options.
Sometimes I think women don't realize that they get certain opportunities from men in powerful places because there's an undertone of a potential opportunity that something could happen with them both because he takes an interest in her. So it's like, oh yeah, she's talented, but also she's really hot. And maybe if I do this for her, maybe we can build this rapport and maybe something will happen. Maybe. Because if he's a man of influence and there's 1,000 people he could choose to give this opportunity to, why would he not give it to the opportunity to the woman that he potentially thinks could be a good match for him?
True.
I'm not saying it's right. And personally, I'm the kind of person I'm like, just give who you think the best person the job is. But that's not how the world works all the time.
It's not.
And especially if the job doesn't require a lot of innate talent or intelligence, he's going to make a decision he's going to add another element to the decision. So like something like, okay, if you're hiring for someone to be your lawyer, you don't care how good looking they are because that's a position that requires a lot of competence to get the result that you want. Yeah. But if you're looking for someone to be handing out flyers for your club, like that's a low level job, right? Yeah. In terms of like the skill required isn't that high. And so you're going to think of other factors that you think is going to help to either benefit the club or benefit you. Yeah. So when it comes to that, and I think most women know that. Most women in like the social media space, that's why they may be in a relationship, but there's a level of portrayal that she's available because it can invite opportunities that if she was in a relationship and everyone knew, maybe she wouldn't get.
She wouldn't get, yeah. I think men do it too.
Well, this is what I want to ask. What's your opinion on perspective? Like, why do you think, looking at a man, why do you think he would portray to be single?
Because I don't. There are men, as in there are profiles online that I've seen. I'm like, this guy's good looking. I've inquired, not because I'm going to make a move, but I've just inquired, like, is he taken? It turns out he's taken behind the scenes, and you're like, so why is this person going on as though they're not? Like, I don't understand. None of the posts even allude to a person being around. Like, I just think things like that are a bit dangerous.
So maybe for a guy then, I do think that's the case for women, but I think women comes with opportunities as well. I think women is potentially to get DM'd by a guy she feels she wants to level up to, as well as opportunities. And maybe guys, it's just so he can still get women on the side. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Like, I mean, I've had guys like my story when I'm being sexy, and I'm like, you're in a relationship, bro. Why are you in my likes for? Like, there's this weird secrecy like that social media creates. I can portray myself to be one thing and I'm really not, you know. I can't stand social media for that reason.
I have a question, playing devil's advocate, because I can completely get that. And I agree with you, right? And I don't know, maybe I'm a bit prideful, but I don't get why guys would like certain like sexy photos and stuff, because I think it just makes you look thirsty personally. So guys, just don't do it.
No, do it.
And if you don't want, you know, if you're saying you don't want the kind of woman who does that, why are you like encouraging it?
But That's what I'm saying. Because
I
they
agree.
marry the good girl.
But then here's what I'd say
And
though.
then fantasize about the girl that... It's weird. It's like they want the good girl. They do want her and they love her so much.
Yep.
But there's this... I feel like sometimes it's like there's this side of men where it's like there's this animalistic, lustful side where they just want to enjoy and indulge in intimacy in the nastiest, steamiest way. And maybe sometimes the good girl doesn't give them that vibe to do that.
Sometimes
do you
that
know
happens.
what I mean?
It's not nice to say, but it's whether a guy is single. Let's assume he's single, and let's assume he's the kind of guy who gets interest from women. Different women can play different roles in his life.
Yeah.
So one woman can be the person he builds a life with. One woman can be the person that he has sexual indulgences with.
Mm-hmm.
One woman could be the woman that gives him validation.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's one of those three.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could say there could be a woman who does his finances. Do you know what I mean?
His accountant,
That guy's smart because I don't know how he gets a woman to kind of be his source, his source
PA.
provider. So that can be the case. But that primal instinct for men
that's the word I was looking for. Yeah.
to, you know, spread his seed.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to talk to the maker because that's how he made male mammals. Because 98% of male mammals are also like that. And so in that sense, I think when he meets a woman that he wants to build a life with and he's ready to do that, I think that's, for a lot of men, they feel that's a sacrifice they make for the bigger purpose.
Wait, explain that again. My brain just needed to process that.
So when a man is ready to build a life with a woman and he finds a woman that he wants to do that with and he's ready to do that, indulging in sexual variety, right? That part of him, that's a sacrifice that he makes for the bigger picture.
See, now I think you're the first man I've ever heard actually admit that.
Yeah, it's true.
It almost makes me kind of sad because I feel like men kind of have it all.
You think they have it all?
I think they can.
How
I
do
think you
mean?
can find a good woman who's the kind that you will take home to your mum, but take off those lights and honey, a whole alter ego comes out.
I agree.
You don't sound like you agree though.
Shall I tell you what it is?
That didn't sound confident at all.
I think there's levels to it. So it's like I'm playing stereotypes. Let's say the girl who works at a strip club, she's a 9 out of 10 nasty.
Yeah.
Right? But maybe, and while you enjoy that, maybe he only needs a 6 out of 10 nasty. Like he would be satisfied with a 6 out of 10 nasty.
Okay.
And maybe the good girl can get there.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay, fair.
Some guys might need the 9.
Every here and there.
Maybe, but like maybe the 9 is like, nah, this is what I like. And if I'm going to be the only one, it has to be this. And if it's that important to him, that it's willing to compromise the other areas, maybe that's the kind of guy who would marry that kind of woman. And who would be that kind of woman. So I agree with you.
Let's be honest, it doesn't happen that way, does it?
What?
People, it's weird. It's like people... The only way it's like I feel like the guy you're describing will still put himself in a scenario where he marries a woman that does not even give him the 6.
Most likely, yeah, because men don't choose women to marry based on his sex with her. They choose on her ability to be a good wife and mother.
Yeah, and obviously, though I hear you. I think men should start looking at things like that though. They should.
I think this is...
But not as priority. But it's...
What should be priority?
Her character, like we said. Like
that should be priority.
That should be priority,
Yeah.
but I still think the sex side should be looked at though, should be considered. Because you know how you said, usually, you know, there's little green red flags that pop up at the beginning or little things about a person that you love and then later on you hate it because you're just like,
you see the other side of that coin.
do you get it? So that's what I'm saying. It's like you maybe, because I've even heard a man say before that like when it's a woman that's like really, you know, nasty, he can do all sorts, almost kind of like degrading things, and he doesn't want to do that to a good girl.
Oh, it's called the Madonna Whore complex. Have you heard that?
So who wins this thing then? That's my question, because
I think we have to accept as human beings that you can have anything you want, but you can't have everything you want.
Yes.
And a lot of the time, things that are worth having do come at a sacrifice.
Yes.
So if you want that kind of woman who's going to be loyal to you, good to you, she's a good example of the kind of woman that you would want your daughter to be.
But maybe
But she's
a
not a
little bit more...
she's not a 9 out of 10 in the bedroom. Like that's a sacrifice you have to be able to make for the
for the
that
bigger
kind
picture.
of woman.
Absolutely. For the legacy, you know what I mean? Everything. Absolutely.
So I think we have to accept that we can't have everything we want. And I actually think that's part of our growth as spiritual beings in this physical existence that we're having. And the same is for women. You know, it's like, okay, if you want the guy who can provide a certain lifestyle that you really like, etc., and that's really important to you, you may have to accept that he may go elsewhere physically. A lot of the time that comes with that kind of territory. I'm not saying it's a
basically
definite.
Count the cost. Always count the cost of the person that you might potentially get with. What losses might there be? I'm just
gonna be honest, right? Nothing in this world comes for free.
Nothing
comes for free.
No.
And so I think when we can understand that, accept that, it's like, okay, cool. When you're ready to make that acceptance of what comes with that, then you know it's the right choice for you. And then if you're like, okay, the thing that comes with that, I actually can't accept, then maybe that thing isn't actually right for you.
Yeah, no, do you know, sorry, I'm only quiet because I can't disagree with you.
Yeah. Tell me what
but I just know it's just not how majority of people work.
And that's why the majority of people don't have what they want.
Unhappy. See, now, if I go out on a date with a guy and he asks me what kind of man you're looking for, I will never tell him.
Why?
Because I want him to be who he is. If I tell you what I'm looking for, you're going to become that person for the next 6 months.
Okay.
And then that's how you lure me in. And then when I'm in love with you, then who you really are will come out. And then I'm going to be like, what's going on? Like, what?
I hear that.
I don't tell a man what I'm looking for.
I hear that.
Let me see who you are.
Shall I
present yourself to me?
I hear that. I think, one, I don't think it's by accident that women have been designed to be naturally more emotionally intelligent than men.
Mm-hmm.
So there are going to be subtle things you pick up on as a woman. If you're tapping into that, it doesn't matter what he says. You're going to see whether that is him or not. Not all the time. But I think women are more adept to that. But the other thing I would say is that
I hear you.
I don't think it's a bad thing if you express this is how you feel loved and valued, and then he makes an effort in that area. I don't think that's a bad thing. In fact, I think
it's a good thing. It's a great thing.
That's actually really good. I think you need that for relationships.
It's a good thing, but it still could almost be a trap because he probably will try.
Mm-hmm.
As we naturally do want to impress each other. But if it's not naturally who he is, he's going to slowly default back.
Can you give me an example? See if we can break it down.
An example of
a guy who maybe you expressed the kind of man that you wanted, and then he played that part until 7 months down the line, and then he just switched on you.
Man, okay. I'm trying to think of an example. But the example I'm going to give you probably like, girl, why did you expect anything? There was one guy, I remember I said to him, listen, I just want a man that's had all his fun. Go and do what you want with Brenda, Susie, Sally. But listen, by the time you come here, just be ready to be happy with this, okay? This guy was like, yeah, man, I'm done. He was telling me, I've been to LA, I've done this, I'm good. Man, he wasn't done. He wasn't done. Why would you lie? Just do your thing then. Why present yourself as something you're not?
Okay, I hear you.
But that's the thing. The example I've given is a rubbish one because you're going to be like, why would you expect?
It's not a rubbish one. Shall I tell you what I think? Shall I tell you what I think it is? Women, you're not going to like this.
Oh no!
I'm going to tell you the truth. That desire never goes, and men think because that desire isn't prevalent that it will never come back. That's why he might think, I'm over it, I'm done. Never goes.
And he realized, can I just shake your hand just for 1 minute, please? Please. Because, the level of honesty that you're giving right now is enough to set everyone free. Okay? This is a truth that will set you free. Okay, cool.
So what it is that when a man is ready to build with a woman, this is a part of him that he has to learn how to manage.
So you're saying basically there's a chance that he was genuine in that moment and felt like, I'm done.
Yes.
Like, I'm good. I've met you. I'm happy.
Yes.
And then realized down the line, oh God, this girl over here though. And then maybe in that moment realized.
Women know men are designed to want to spread their seed.
Yeah.
From a primal place. Now, we're not just animals, right? Like, we are intelligent, conscious beings. So we make the choice. That's not an excuse for him to lie and cheat. It's not an excuse.
Yeah.
But he's been designed this way. Males are designed this way, right? Even in conception, right? The woman is one egg and plenty of sperm.
Yeah.
Right? That's what we do.
Yeah.
Okay? So that desire is very innate in men. And I think what can happen, because sometimes men don't think women can handle the truth, men deny that it's a thing. So like, I was talking to my boy the other day about this. Like, tell me what you think. I also think there's also an element, I think, there's no other way to put this. I think on a subconscious level, sometimes women want to be lied to. Let me explain.
I hear you.
You're with your girl, right?
Yeah.
And she goes, babe, if I was a hamster, would you still love me? What does the guy say? Of course, baby.
Of course I would.
You would be mine forever. If you turned into a hamster tomorrow, girl,
Honey,
you're our pet and a new woman is coming in. What are you talking about?
Get in that cage, girl.
What are you talking about?
Get in that wheel.
What are you talking about?
No, I hear you.
Right? But
What are you actually asking me right now?
Right. Because every time that kind of question comes,
Yeah.
guys are like, why is she asking me this question?
Yeah, no, I hear you.
And and you can tell me what you think. What she's actually doing, she's just looking for reassurance. She doesn't actually think that.
Yeah.
She's just looking for reassurance. Like,
I hear you.
I'll be honest, I'm probably gonna get some heat for this.
Oh, go on.
So if my girlfriend, sometimes she'd be like, babe, if I get really fat, would you still love me? And I'm like,
girl, don't
if we don't have kids and we're not married, I'm gonna get so much hate for this. I'd be like, yeah, I'll still love you, but we just be friends.
Oh, that's what you said.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about the weight thing because
No, hold on though. But we're talking about like
it was an issue in my marriage.
Really?
It was an issue in my marriage. It really was, and I felt like I was in such a difficult position because.
But how much did you change? Did you go from this to like?
It wasn't me.
Oh, him.
Yeah.
The thing is, if a woman says that, I'd be like, well, fair enough. Like, if one of the reasons that attracted you to him was how he treated himself and took care of himself, and then you lose attraction to that because he then puts on, like, I'm talking like a lot of weight. Like, the category changes. I'm not talking like a little bit. That's different, right? Like, because people's weight can fluctuate.
Yeah. And
obviously, if you're a mother as well, your body's going to change. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking like, you were a fitness girl and now you're Lizzo. Like, there's such a drastic, like, you're such a different person. Yeah. Does that make sense?
He became really big.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that for you as a woman?
It was hard.
Right.
It was hard. I'm trying to remember size. Like, what size jeans do you wear? Like waist?
I'm a 32 inch.
Yeah, he was a 42. 42.
That's on the larger side. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
So he was always a bit bigger than everyone else, but not big, where it's like I look at you by yourself and I'm like, okay, he's a big person, you know? And I tread carefully on this topic because I know like weight is a thing for people, you know? I'm on the side of the spectrum where I struggle to put on weight. I lose weight very quickly. So I'm aware that it's a struggle that I don't have. No, I want to be thick sometimes, but I'm fighting my own body just to get there. So the other side is not easy. But anyway, I think what I found hard was he didn't like being big, but it felt like I wasn't allowed to not like it. So when I would approach him and I'd be like, babe, like, can we, you know, he'd be like, yeah, but you've always known me to be big though. But this is who I am. That's what you say. This is my identity. I'm like, no, it's not your identity. Your weight is not part of your identity. I said, your nose is, your eye shape is, but not your weight. Your weight can change. So he was like, if you love me, then you'll love my weight. And I was like, but you don't like your weight. So why am I being forced to love it? We're just having a very difficult conversation. And this is what I'm saying again. Therapy has taught me how to have the uncomfortable conversation anyway. no matter what you feel, because it has to be said. And it just got to a point where the subject could not be brought up.
Interesting. And personally, what you're saying, I resonate with. I think how you approach the conversation, if that's how you approach it, for sure. So if you're like, look, babe, I love you, I care about you, but because you've not really been looking after yourself as much, I'm just not as attracted to you as I used to be. And I really want that to be a thing.
That is so hard to tell someone.
It is.
I couldn't say it in those words. I couldn't say it in such words.
How
because I knew it would hurt him too much.
That's fair.
It was so difficult. Do you know what I mean? It was so difficult. So there was a lot of times I would just swallow what I felt, because I'm just like, I'm not here to hurt you. And if me talking about your weight makes you feel like I'm your enemy and not your teammate, then let's not talk about it.
I'll be honest. We all have our own work to do. If I got really out of shape and my partner came to me like, Kit, I love you, I care about you, but you've not been looking after yourself, and it's kind of got to a point now where I don't want to be in that physical space with you. Is there a way we can work together to get you to improve your fitness and your health? For me, and maybe this is just my character, I think, okay, she loves this relationship so much, she's not gonna try and let it degrade over time. She's bringing this to me now before that happens. And I would thank her for it.
But this is the thing, you're not understanding, sir. You don't represent the majority.
I know.
Because you've done enough work to be able to hear what she's saying without a lens of pain, that would make you feel rejected, and you know what I mean?
And people's natural response might be that.
Would be that, yeah. Sure. But it's just, you've obviously done a level of, you have a level of self-awareness where you can actually hear what someone's trying to tell you.
Yes.
And a lot of the times, we got a personal trainer and everything together.
Great.
But he wasn't committed. I remember going for a jog and it started raining as I jogged. And then when I came back, I obviously felt sick and I got a cold. And he laughed because was like, look at you, because you went out to jog in the rain. Do you get it? Was like, it's taking the mick out of me.
Yes.
So, I just got to a point I was just like, okay, I'm going to be quiet. I just won't say anything. But you can imagine, obviously, intimacy-wise, it just got difficult.
I think it's one of those things where I don't think there's no such thing as choosing someone unconditionally. You can, because here's the thing, you can still love someone, but then you don't choose them. Right?
Yeah.
I don't think there's no such thing as choosing unconditionally. There's conditions to it. And we don't like to say it because it's not romantic.
Right. And it's also not spiritual or godly.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't know why. If you're a person, you have standards for yourself.
Yeah.
And you meet someone who also brings those standards to you. And then you're in a relationship. And part of your commitment to relationship is we're going to commit to maintaining these standards for each other. So if part of the standard I bring to you is that I am considerate of you when we go out, I make sure that you're okay. If I start doing that less, that's going to make you feel a type of way.
Yeah.
You're not going to feel loved.
Yeah.
You're not going to feel considered.
Yeah.
If that's the standard that I bring in the beginning, I don't care if it's been a year, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what I've been doing,
energy.
That's what I should still be doing. Because my commitment to you is the standard that I bring. And I don't just do that for you, but I do that for the relationship. Because all these things that we do, right, to contribute to the relationship, that's what builds the frame. So I think we have to be honest and be like, let's not pretend that we're choosing this person unconditionally. It's because of how they choose to show up. That's what made me fall for you.
Right. And let's be honest, the standard has slipped a little bit.
Right. Now, here's the thing. Here's what I would say. We have to be able to be flexible in kind of the fluctuation of the standards. Right. So like, for example, like I've said to Guy, you know, I've talked to guys sometimes, they're like, yeah, if she, you know, has my child and then, you know, she's put on loads of weight, I'm out. And I'm like, well, bro,
Allow her, man.
like she's had your
Give her a
child,
bit
bro.
Time, yeah.
Like she's had your
time.
child, give her time and stuff, and her body's going to change, right?
She didn't get there just from eating.
Sure.
Like,
right. So it's like, if it changes and fluctuates, fine. I'm talking like the standard changes completely.
Yeah.
Because that means you're bringing a different standard to a relationship that you didn't bring before.
Yeah. And there's no sign of it reverting back, by the way. As in, so the standard has changed completely.
Yes.
And there's no sign that you're trying to get it back to where it was.
This is why you have to have this conversation.
Yeah.
And I know it's difficult.
It's tough.
But if you're going to be with somebody for the rest of your life, you have to be able to have...
It's a long time.
It's a long time.
Why don't people understand that till death do us part is a long time?
For sure.
You're not going to always agree.
Yes.
You're not always going to see eye to eye, but it's like you just try to compromise where you can. But man, that conversation in that marriage was very difficult.
Yeah, it's
definitely
constant.
One of the breakdowns. But you can imagine, I mean, I've been on another podcast before where I've shared my story and the weight thing came up and my God, people came for me.
I'm sure.
They thought I was shallow and all this kind of stuff. Obviously, we can talk about the marriage more if you want. But yeah, I just was like, why don't people understand the other party's possible difficulty, you know, with if their partner was to drastically change their appearance?
Well, I guess what I would ask, were people coming for you because you left? Because
I cheated.
Okay, so that's different then.
Yeah.
Because I guess because the
but
impression
I was just willing to have the uncomfortable conversation as to what led me to the space I was at. Do you get it?
Sure.
So because I was just talking about the factors, people think I'm using it as an excuse. It's like, no, these were genuine, difficult conversations.
If you're loving this episode and these kinds of conversations, then I want to give you something. We recently launched the Kits Angels community. This is a sisterhood for women who are tired of what the dating scene has given them and are ready to take their love lives to the next level. It's a space for you as a woman to not be alone in your journey to love, where we learn, talk, and share our experiences as part of a strong sisterhood, with some leadership and guidance from yours truly, of course. Not to mention never before seen videos from me on how I've led dozens of women to meeting great men. And so as a thank you for watching this episode, I'm giving you a month's membership completely complimentary on me. Just click the Kits Angels link below, and when you join the group, message me the code phrase Angels Podcast and I will pay for your membership. Now back to the episode. So what I would say is, even if there were reasons for why you did it, that doesn't justify making the choice.
Yeah, and I never was trying to.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I was literally just explaining what got me there. Because again, I'm willing to have the uncomfortable conversation.
Are you open to having that now?
Yeah, we can. We can. But I was gonna quickly
go on, ask me. Go.
This was going back to, you know, the whole women like to be lied to thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get so much shit for that, but yes.
Yeah. Give him shit. I'm joking.
I love you really, but I'm saying it how it is. That's why you're here watching, right?
Don't ask about the weight thing though. But okay, so I was seeing a guy.
Yes.
And he would always tell me about girls trying to move to him, send me screenshots, tell me, I went to the shop. And this girl did it. And it felt like he wanted to get a rise out of me. It just felt like he wanted me to be upset and wanted me to feel jealous. And I literally got to a point, I was like, listen, just don't tell me. I was like, if you're not going with them, I don't need to know. Like, tell me if it becomes peak. If it's like, I kind of met a girl, like, fair enough. But if a girl's moved to you, I don't need to know. I don't tell you every time a guy has moved to me. This man didn't stop. He would still tell me anyway. Do you know what I mean? And
I'm
just
why he did
like, why?
There's usually two reasons why this happened. Were you guys dating? Were you together or no?
We weren't officially together, but we were dating.
You were dating, okay. So one, it could be because if he feels that you don't like him as much as he would like you to like him, he does that to be like, hey, all these other girls like me this much. You should like me this much too. That's what that is. Or the other reason might be because I actually don't think there's another reason. I think that's the main reason. It's because if he felt that you didn't like him as much as he thinks you should have.
And I really did. That's the joke.
Sure, maybe internally you did, but maybe he's like, okay, if she liked me this much, this is what I would see. And maybe he felt he wasn't seeing that. That's not saying what he did was okay, but...
I'm just trying to, as in, when you're saying this is what I would see, because I'm like, bro, I'm dating you already. Like, you can see from just meeting me today, I have a big personality. Like, if I like someone, yo, I'm gonna let you know. Okay, I'm not trying to hide that. Listen, so maybe
It could be that, but it just could
felt
be
like he just wanted me to be jealous. He wanted me to be upset. He wanted to get a rise out of me. And then if I did sometimes, then he'll be like, oh, you're doing too much. And
wait, okay.
I'm so glad that man is out of my life. You know, when someone comes into your world to just cause you disturbance.
I think you know, your personality being you're the kind of person that people are drawn to. So there might have been quite a few environments where he witnessed men moving to you, etc. Right? And so now he feels a type of way because it's like, oh, you're always in an environment and stuff where men are trying it with you. So now he's trying to tell you, well, guess what? Now I'm in an environment where girls are trying it with me, when girls are liking me.
It's all subconscious, isn't it?
I actually think it was because he didn't like that aspect, the results of who you are in that sense. And so he was trying to say that.
This is the thing, Kit, okay?
Go on.
If I tell people that, listen, I experience a lot of hate from people for no reason, they'll say, womp womp, pretty privileged. Like they will look at you and say, shut up. Like you're probably being treated so well because people deem you attractive. People don't understand the way people's insecurities show up in them just from being around me.
Yeah, I understand.
And that's both men and women. I've had people move.
Really?
People move weird. I have to watch the friends I have. If you have a certain amount of insecurities, I can't be your friend because I've had friends take it out on me. Not want me to feel good, or do you know what I mean? I've had, oh my gosh, I could tell you stories till I'm blue in the face.
I reckon part of it is, I think a lot of the time there's such a strong sense of community amongst women that if they perceive there's something that a woman is doing that is against the community, they turn on her. So for example, let's say you're with there's a group of you with your friends and with their partners, right? And then you're dancing, you're twerking in the middle of the dance floor. That's got their partners being like, oh, right, okay, like, you know, like, Loyce has got it. Okay, calm. Because the thing is also as well, guys, they make a mental note. They go, mental note, Loyce is, she's got it like that, mental note. But in that sense, that's just part of who you are. But your girlfriends, right, could be like, why is she doing that in front of my man like that? Now for you, you're like, I'm just being me. But she's like, to her, it's like you're doing something that goes against the community of women. Especially as a woman, you know how important it is to feel safe within a relationship, especially emotionally. So it's like, if you're doing something that seems against the goals of the community of women, they will turn on you. That's why if there's like a guy who's married and a woman has an affair with him, but she knew he was married, the women turn on her. Yeah. She wasn't even the one cheating. Yeah. But a woman turned on her. And it took a while for me to understand this because I'm like, but he's the one cheating. He's the one lying. Exactly. Like, I'm not saying, I'm not saying she didn't have a part, but the more innocent party is her. But women turn on her. And it's because it's like, you're not for women because you're the kind of woman who would try and come after my man. Yeah. And it's also projection that he chose you. He was choosing you whilst I believed he chose me. What was it about you that he wanted? I'm going to make sure I destroy it. Sure. Yeah. So I think it's that perception in that sense. See, this is the thing. This is why when it comes to dating, honestly, I'm taking a break. And it's a long extended break. Okay. But just because people are weird. And you see a lot of what we're talking about is a lot of subconscious behavior, and it's only when you've done certain work that you can recognize that. But a lot of people are ignorant. A lot of people don't know. So even trying to explain to someone
that, listen, a guy would send me messages every time a girl would move to him. They would just be like, no, he's probably just being dumb. He's probably bantering you. But someone else would be like, no, he's probably trying to make you jealous or
He's trying to display that he's
that
desirable.
Guy.
Yeah, because it's really difficult to be that guy.
Is it?
Okay.
Teach me. Tell me.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
I have 50 random guys who would approach you, right? Old, young, fat, slim, all colors and creeds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who approach you or DM you. I have 50 random guys. How many of those guys do you look at and you go, I like the look and vibe of you enough that I go on a date with you?
50.
Out of 50.
On average, in general, the way I am.
Yep.
Probably 2.
2?
Out of the 50.
Yeah, cool. Most women are like that. I have a random 50
so
guys.
they're not constantly getting rejected.
Out of a random 50 guys, most women would give less than 5 a chance. Less than 5. But the caveat...
I just proved it.
But the caveat is that the same guys you would give a chance are the same guys she would give a chance, she would give a chance, she would give a chance. So what ends up happening is you get a very small percentage of men who get all of the opportunity. And most guys are obviously not getting opportunities like that. So when a guy's like, hey, this girl liked me, this girl hitting me, this girl did this, he's like, hey, I'm that guy. I'm that 4% out of 100 men. That's why he's doing that. And it's funny because I used to think like, guys, like, girls get hit on all the time. Like, I don't care how desirable you are. If you're with an attractive woman, she gets hit on way more than you do as a guy. Way more. So why is it you telling her? Why is that going to be a thing? But I was like, oh, that's actually why. Because they're trying to display value through the interests of other women to you. Does that make sense?
Unfortunately, it does. And I hate that it does because it's blown my mind. Right now, I'm just like, I honestly, everyone is scary. Everyone is scary.
It's one of those things. When you understand what goes on, then you just understand how to recognize what's happening. So you know how I said about, oh, when a girlfriend goes, hey, if I was a hamster, would you still love me? And guys, they're just looking at it, be like, why she asked me this silly question? But when you see, go, oh, she's just looking for reassurance that I'm still in love with her. Of course, baby. If you are a hamster, you're mine forever. I'll put the ring on your little foot.
Oh.
She's just looking for reassurance. And then when you understand that, it takes all of that aggravated energy. Like, why is this person bringing this to me? Why are we doing this or whatever? Maybe with that guy, he was just looking for reassurance that you were into him because maybe he felt that you weren't. But the way he went about it was such a surface level subconsciously that he didn't even realize that's what he's looking for.
Vibrational ways of getting attention.
Right. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah. Are you down to talk about your marriage?
Yeah, we could talk about it. Obviously, I'll be very careful on what I say.
Sure. You don't have to share anything you don't want to.
No problem.
But you said that you were married and you said, why did it end for you? What was that? What was that journey?
Do you know what? The unfortunate thing is that it's one of those typical cases where there were red flags that I just thought, oh, it's fine. It's fine. And then later in the marriage, it was like, oh no, this isn't changing. Oh, okay, this is who you are. Okay, cool. I'm in this for life, basically. So we met when we were 15. We got together when we were 18. Wow. We got married at 22. And the marriage ended when we were 27. So we gave it 5 years. And it was one of those, we were young, we were in love. We thought, this is it. We're happy. My mum was against it, personally. She was like, you're too young. You're going to find other men out there. And I just believed I wouldn't. I was like, I've done uni. Like, I'm finished. I'm done meeting all men. God, I thought I was grown. So yeah, it was one of those situations where we were very much in the church. We used to be youth pastors.
Yep.
And because we engaged in premarital sex, the advice was very much get married ASAP, like just honor God with your marriage. So obviously the church did try to do the counseling, but if you don't really have the expertise, do you know what I mean? So looking back, I feel like they should have known, guys, I don't know if this is really gonna work.
Okay.
As people who had observed us watching growing up and everything. But it was just very much, it just felt like the focus was the fact that we had sex. And it was just about cleaning this up. It wasn't really about, are these two ready to actually make a marriage work? And so we got married and it was difficult, probably from about 1.5 years in. both of us are broken. We had a dynamic where I'm an anxious attacher. He is controlling, you know? And I know I'm using terms that are like big and you might be like, that's a bit unfair to use, but it's more so to just explain the dynamic that we had that went on for a very long time. Okay. I grew up in a Ugandan home, very strict, so I know how to submit. So for me, if he wakes up and he's in a bad mood and he wants me to do something, guess what? I'm going to do it because I'm used to that. I'm used to just,
serving the man.
Serving a man. Sure. Yeah. Ugandan culture is very patriarchal. Men get fed before children.
Really?
Yeah. I've grown up watching my mum serve my dad. I've grown up kneeling to my dad. If my mum's cooked and she gives that food to me on a tray, I'm giving it to my dad on my knees.
That's it. And to be fair, I guess in Nigerian household, the man of the house would be served first.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like he would eat and the others wouldn't, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, okay, just very strict. So I just knew submission wasn't new to me. Like, it, you know, I'm not one of them feminists. It's like, oh, girl power. I don't really care. Like, I'm happy to be the neck while you be the head. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's fine, you know? So, yeah, we just ran into difficulties, mainly around, of course, intimacy. And there was just a lot, for me, in my experience, what I felt was control. And so I felt like a bird trapped in a cage, and it got to a point where I was like, I want to be free. But the way I went about getting that freedom was low level.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank
you for honesty. So in that sense, how did you go? Like, who did you have? Like, did you cheat with the affair? Was it like a one time? Was it an ongoing thing?
It wasn't one time, but it wasn't for very long. It was a short period of time. It was a work colleague.
Right.
I'm trying to remember. I had my daughter, but I couldn't work straight away after I had her. I had my daughter whilst I was getting my teaching certificate. Right. So because I was pregnant on the course, no school gave me a job because obviously I'm pregnant. They knew I was going to go off maternity. So I took the first year out and I just looked after my daughter. So when I finally went back to work, it was like, I've been out for a year. I remember just feeling like I had a spring in my step because it felt like I got to get up and be somewhere now. I'm Miss so-and-so at work. Do you know what I mean? So it felt good. And then, I met this guy and we hit it off. And at first it was all very innocent, just how you get to know someone. It was a whole group of us that managed to make friends, and we would all hang out. He was the only African and the rest were Caribbean. It was about 6 of us. So we got on a certain frequency that, you know, the others didn't.
Similar backgrounds,
similar jokes, all that kind of stuff. And then, I was a teacher at the time. He was a teaching assistant. He would come into my classroom. He would come into my classroom even when he wasn't supposed to be in my classroom, because he had his own timetable. So then before you know it, you're having conversations that are separate from everyone, and he made it obvious that he found me attractive. I found him attractive too.
What did you say?
And then I eventually told him I found him attractive too.
Right.
So now it's gone from, oh, this is innocent to, oh shit, we both know we find each other attractive and we're still talking. And it was the slipperiest slope I've ever been on. It was so quick. Like, I met him September. It was by December that we had slept together.
A few months. Thank you for sharing that. For being open and honest about that. So in that sense, I think the first question I'll ask, I think a lot of guys would think about, did it happen because of who he is? Or did it happen because of who you were? Was it because he was a guy who was just so great that you can help yourself with? Or did it happen because like you were open to that and he just happened to be the guy that you did that with?
I think it happened because of me.
Okay.
Because of me, as in that man wasn't special. He wasn't someone to write home about and be like, oh my gosh, no. He was a normal man, but I was so far gone in the marriage in terms of, I grew up in the church and I told you I grew up in a strict home. So like I hadn't even been to carnival, hadn't done a girls trip. Do you know what I mean? And I'm a teacher now. I'm like 26 and like people are like, you're a mom, you're a youth pastor, you're married and you're a teacher. I remember someone saying that to me and they were like, you're so responsible. You're 26. Like, and I remember thinking, no, for real. So it's like these desires started growing in me. And when we would hang out, I saw freedom in him, that guy. You understand?
Right.
He had a carefree life. He could go out, and he was dancer as well.
Okay.
So that was the first time I saw like leg work, for example, like, you know, and I'm like, wow, what dance move is that? He introduced me to Burner Boy, all of this. So I used to be in a dance group as well when I was like 14, and I stopped obviously when I got married. So it felt like he was bringing back parts of myself that I had lost, but I was also seeing a visual portrayal of someone living authentically as themselves, and I was jealous of it because I'm caged in now. I'm married. I've made all these decisions. I've got a child. I can't just do what I want. I kind of have to live through you, but I made that man so special. I wanted him so badly. But deep down, I knew he was never going to be my next man. He was never going to be my husband. But I can't tell you how the desire was so intense. It was like a drug. Like when it was half time, I remember missing work. What am I missing work for? It's half time, bro. Go and be at home resting. But it felt like home was the work and there was where I rest.
Sure.
You know, at home, my daughter was my joy, you know? Yeah.
Do you think because I know you said, for example, like, and it always starts small. Little conversation, little look, start spending time, start having conversations outside of the group. And you said there was one point where he started come to your classroom when he didn't need to be there. And, you know, he said that he found you attractive. Now, technically, no boundary had been crossed. But do you think if you had set
A tone.
certain boundaries,
Absolutely, it wouldn't happen.
that it wouldn't have happened? So, like, for example, like when he started visiting you, if you started being like,
hey, you're not supposed to be here
hey,
right now.
right. Even if you find him attractive.
Yeah.
Do you think it would have happened?
I could have nipped it in the bud, for sure. I could have nipped it in the
As
bud.
in, do you think you would have still made that choice if you had set those boundaries?
As in, do I think he would have still made the choice?
Do you think you would have? Like, you think if you set those boundaries, wouldn't have happened?
No, absolutely not.
So I have to be real with you here.
Yeah. No, I know exactly how I got there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have to be real with you here. You know, we said about twerking your ass out in the club, going on girls trips, etc. That's why guys don't like it. That's why they have an issue.
Because it opens the door.
Because because thing is, we can't, I'll be honest with you, right? Like, I've never stepped out like that.
Which is
but
amazing.
it's not because I'm a better man in terms of resisting temptation. It's because I don't put myself in those positions where temptation can come.
Yes.
So the example I give is I went on a Royal Caribbean cruise with my family. My best friend was there. I had a girlfriend at the time, and we'd connected with these other group of young people as well. Americans, Canadians, all of this stuff. And there was this Canadian girl. There was very clearly chemistry. We got on very well. We just clicked. And this was the last night. I've been resisting it because the cruise was like a week. It was the last night. Everybody was like, we're going to do an all-nighter in the hot tub on the top deck of the ship. Right? In their underwear, they're smoking a weed vape that one of the guys snuck onto the ship. So everyone's getting down to their underwear. My boy was there. And she was like, Kit, you're not coming in. And I knew
It's done.
if I get in that hot tub, it's not guaranteed that something will happen, but I know that I would want something to happen.
Yeah.
And I know that post that, I'm going back home to my girlfriend.
Yeah. And I love
So
that.
I felt like, I've never felt like such a loser in my life. But imagine 12. So yeah, on the ship, everyone's getting into the hot tub, going to do it all-nighter. Kit, am I going to get, they're saying, Kit, you're going to get in. And I never felt like such a loser because I was like, I'm going to go to bed. And
you have to be boring.
And I left, and I remember lying on my deck, lying in my room on the deck, just like looking up the ceiling, like,
Yep.
like
You have
I
to
feel
be
like such a
lame.
loser right now.
Yep.
So when it comes to, and this is why I asked about the boundary, because it could have been, I could have gotten that hot tub and nothing would have happened. Or I could have got in and it would have led somewhere and then I would have ended up down that path. But I just didn't flip that coin because that was a boundary that I set.
I love that.
And so And it's not because I'm, like I said, like, you know, I'm very self-disciplined in that sense, but I'm not going to pretend that I can't give into temptation because I'm still human. And so sometimes when it comes to, and this is why I asked about the boundary, when you have a relationship, having those boundaries is a way to make sure that you don't do something that's going to jeopardize that. And so that's why guys don't like it when girls are going on girls trips, or when they're, you know, center of attention with their like arse out and all of
By the
this
way,
stuff.
my arse is not out.
I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it is.
Say it.
I'm just saying just in general.
I don't want to
I'm
sound
talking in general.
I'm twerking, I cheat on men. Please.
No, I'm just saying in general. Now, I think there is an element for me. I wouldn't be with someone who I don't trust, but part of me trusting that person is they understand where maybe those temptations come in, and they know how to set the boundaries for themselves that serves the relationship, because that's what I'm doing on my side.
Yeah.
So it's interesting when you say, if you'd set that boundary, that it wouldn't have happened.
It wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened because I would have nipped it in the bud. And this is what I'm talking about in terms of subconscious behavior, where it's like, I'm not even realizing what's going on inside of me. I'm not realizing that, as in, I know I'm married and this is a boundary that should be set, but I'm not even realizing that even me letting him come into my classroom is a slippery slope. Do you get him coming into my classroom when he shouldn't be? I'm allowing it because it's cool. Hey, we're going to have a chat. No. If you know the way I am now, I'm so careful with men now. I'm so clear with my tone now in terms of what I'm bringing to whatever this is, in terms of friendship, relationship, anything. Like, I don't play. I can clock when a guy's trying to cross that boundary with me. For example, more recently, I had a person at work who, being very careful here, who is married, you know, in a relationship, and they started telling me their marital issues. Okay. And I had to tell them straight away, I'm so sorry, sir, but I can't engage in such conversations like that. Because again, I'm aware as well that I'm attractive. Why are you telling me about your relationship problems? I wasn't there when you guys got married. Interesting. Don't tell me. You're making it out like you want my perspective. But the truth is, if you want my perspective, at least put me in a position where I know you and your wife. So it's a fair perspective. But I don't know your wife.
Interesting.
Why are you telling? And then you try to ask for my number. Do you get it?
Okay. So yeah, I think it's funny because there's like areas that are grey that it could be a friendly thing, and then it could be a romantic thing. So like when you said about the guy comes to your classroom, I think if you came to a classroom because you guys got on and there was a level of friendship, I think that's fine. But the moment he was like, I find you attractive, that's what it is.
Now I know what's going on.
So with this guy at work, I understand there's nothing wrong with you setting that boundary. He may have just been asking from a woman's perspective. I understand what you're saying. You should know her as well. But if he's asking for a woman's perspective, that could have been genuine. It could have been genuine. But then asking for your number would be like, why do you need my number? Like, what for? And that's when, you know, there could be a boundary. But I hear that.
So I'm even still covering for him. Like, do you know what I mean? Nah, I just knew. Like, and I'm in those kind of situations a lot where I have to put up the boundary with the man. I have to. Men sometimes just don't respect their partners behind their backs, man. Just don't have their partners' backs. It's sad. It's sad.
I think that's just people.
Do you know what?
I think it's just people.
It's people.
Because
it's people.
Because, you know, I think a lot of guys would say that, you know, there's some things that girls do that he feels that's just disrespectful for our relationship. You're not thinking about me. And if he expresses that, she can say, I'm not saying this is you, but she can say, why are you insecure? Why are you controlling? Blah, 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 blah. And so I think that is people. And I think it's one of those things where whenever you get into a new relationship with someone, like every relationship is unique in itself because those two people are unique. And so you have to communicate, like, what is it that we can accept? What is it that we don't accept? What are some boundaries that we have? So like personally for me, I don't mind if my girl goes a night out. Some guys don't like that. But that's because I know she's more of an introvert. So I know she's not going to be out here doing the most.
Oh, bless her. Yeah. You know her personality.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But I've never been that person. But I guess because my background, I'm an actor primarily. So I've had to work with, you know, being intimate with people on stage or on screen. Ooh. So it takes a lot of, you know, I come from a very open-minded industry. So I think to just operate in that industry, you have to be very secure in yourself. So I think that's probably why I'm like, look, if at the end of the day, if I trust you, I trust you, right? But there might be things, if I feel that it's a bit of a disrespect to relationship, then that has to be communicated.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. No, I'm aware. Like I definitely disrespected my relationship. It's not something I'm proud of. And just to be clear to the audience, me sharing my story is not to say I'm okay with it or that it's good. It's just to say that I'm willing to have the uncomfortable conversation. I'm willing to talk about how I got there because, I follow a psychologist called Esther Perel.
Oh, I've read both her books twice. I love her.
80% of people are affected by infidelity. So I love what she says. It's not just a few bad apples then.
It's true.
Majority of people are doing it, but we don't have the conversations as to how we get there because they're so taboo and people are so triggered by it. So that's what happened when I went on another podcast because I shared my story. People are so triggered by infidelity already as a subject that they're just throwing things at me, forgetting that it doesn't make their relationship a fair proof. Coming from me does not safeguard you. Your partner could be doing it right now as we speak because it's 80%.
It's true. Let me ask you a question then on that.
Ask me.
Would you forgive a man that you're with if he cheated on you?
No.
Really?
No. Now that I know what it takes and how intentional you have to be to do it. No.
Wow.
No, like as in because I've done it, it doesn't mean that
I'm not saying because you've done it.
No. Okay, fair enough.
I'm saying
I don't want
like
a society that condones cheating. Do you get what I'm saying? As in, I wouldn't forgive it. No, because I've done it myself. I know the kind of steps it takes to even get there.
So here's what I would say. I hear that. Two things on that. One, I think there's a difference if it's something that's ongoing and it happened one time.
Fair.
If it happened one time, might have been a mistake. Ongoing is intentional. Right? Both still cheating, but I think there's a difference. Also, I think they're not all the time, but there can be a big difference when a woman cheats compared to a man.
Yeah. I do agree with that.
And I'm not saying, I'm not condoning this.
Yeah.
A man can sleep with another woman and still be fully for his wife.
How? You know what? I've come to accept that that's a part of men that we as women may never understand.
I don't think women will.
And I've learned to accept that.
Yeah.
I think it is genuinely
with women,
different.
I don't think it's the same. I think if a woman has got to a point
of cheating,
where she is willing to share herself with another man, it's because there is a level of emotionality there that she's built with that man and that has checked out of her current relationship.
Yeah. I was so checked out. By the time I had stepped out of my marriage, I had let my husband know that I wasn't happy. I had let him know that I was thinking about leaving this relationship. I just obviously wasn't honest about what on earth was going on. It's like I gave him bits. Like I'd let him know that there is someone I've met at work. I kind of find him attractive. I don't really know what to do, but I'm not going anywhere.
You didn't say that though.
No, I said I found him attractive, and then he asked me, "What is it that you find attractive?" And I couldn't tell him because I
you said to him that there was someone at work you found attractive?
Yeah, I told my ex-husband.
Was this before you slept with him?
Before I stepped out. So then what happened was... Oh, sorry. Yeah, I've not given you everything.
Wait, no, the reason
There's so much to
hold
this.
on. The reason I'm saying because I think that's harder than saying to your husband, you've let yourself go, I love you, but I'm not finding you attractive. And you're like, that's really hard. But then you came out here now and just said that you told your husband that you're attracted to a guy at work. That's a way harder conversation to have.
Yeah. But I had to have it because of how as in, I'm on the edge. Do you get it? That's what I. But
if you'd had the conversation
the
about
weight
his
thing, I'm not on the edge. This is just a difficult thing for me.
I know, but if you'd had the conversation with
babe,
the weight,
if I don't tell you this, our marriage could end. I need to tell you. That's more so where it is.
Well, technically, the weight thing is what led to it ending, because if that conversation had been had and he'd worked himself and got into shape,
I did have a conversation. I just said, babe, could we work on going to the gym?
Yeah, but you said that you could...
I'm not attracted to you anymore.
Yeah, but when I said that's the conversation that you need to have, babe, I love you, but the way you've let yourself go, I don't feel this attraction for you.
Yeah.
You're like, I can't do that, it's too difficult.
Yeah.
But then you've just said that you told your man that there's someone else you find attractive in a space that you're going to every day. That's way harder.
Yeah, no, you're right. Okay, no, according to you, that's what you feel, that those conversations.
You don't think that's harder?
I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is I had the conversation with my ex-husband about his weight. What I couldn't say to him to his face is, I don't find you attractive anymore. I couldn't say that to him. I couldn't let such words utter. But yes, I did tell him that there is someone at work I found attractive, because it's not, if I say there's someone at work I found attractive, it's not me saying that you're not attractive to me anymore. It's just me saying I found someone at work attractive. If I now tell you I don't find you attractive, but I've found someone, bro, I'm breaking your heart like crazy.
I think it's way worse. I would rather someone say, hey Kit, I feel like you've kind of let yourself go. That I'm not as attracted to you as I was before, rather than, hey babe, just so you know, there's someone at work that I'm attracted to.
Yeah, but of course you're making the conversation sound like that's how I approached him, and that's not how I approached him.
No, I'm just saying,
hey babe, do you know what I mean? I did it with tact. I'm not. You understand?
I understand you did it with tact.
And even the conversation about the weight was with as much tact as possible, which is what I'm saying, that he would then rebut and say, well, if you love me, you'll love my weight. So it became a conversation that could not be had anymore.
No, because you didn't. No, because you didn't say to him that, babe, I'm not as attracted to you because of this. Okay,
so you're basically saying that you think if I told my ex-husband, I do not find you attractive anymore, that he would have been like, right, I need to fix this for my wife.
I think if you had communicated to him that you don't have as much attraction to him, and that you're not attracted to him, and that if
if I talk about your weight, I'm basically saying that. I'm bringing it up as an issue.
You didn't say that though. But it is, for you, it was an issue, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If I'm bringing up your weight,
what I'm trying to say is
that I have an issue. I don't need to hurt you with my words. And
you don't think you telling him that you find someone else attractive at work hurt him?
But this, of course it's going to hurt him, but I had to have the conversation. I don't have to tell you, babe, because you've gotten big, I don't find you attractive anymore. That is horrible to say.
So here's the thing. Here's where you're wrong. Because if you'd had that conversation, this might not have happened.
No. Don't do that.
It might not have.
This is what a lot of people do. You have to remember that you don't know his character.
No, hold on. I didn't say that it wouldn't have.
You've made it very binary. If I had this conversation, that wouldn't happen. No, that's not true.
No, you didn't hear me. I didn't say it would have happened. I said this might not have happened.
But I doubt it.
That's fine. But what I'm trying to say is, when it came to a conversation with his weight, which led to you looking elsewhere, you didn't do everything you could here to communicate that.
Yeah.
Right? Because it was a difficult conversation.
Yeah.
I understand that. I'm not saying it's not a difficult conversation. But you telling him, right, that you are attracted to someone else, when you even said yourself, you've already had this conversation about his weight, that's a way more difficult conversation to have.
Okay. But that's the way it went. So what now?
No, I'm just... That's what I'm saying.
Do you get what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
Because it just feels like you're doing that typical thing that people do when they want to get onto you about the bad decisions that you've made. It's like, bro, I'm aware.
I'm not
like,
judging you.
I don't know what more you want. I'm happy for you that you're a very faithful man. You're principled. Well done. Do you get what I'm saying? But like... I'm
not judging you.
It's the way it went. I couldn't tell him to his face that I don't find him attractive. Therefore, I didn't want to do that.
I understand. I'm not judging you, right? And I'm not saying here like I'm perfect. I'm not perfect either. Okay, like I feel there's a little bit of projection. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying that is a way more difficult. Like the fact that I'm trying to understand why that was a conversation you could have and this was a conversation you couldn't have. Because I'm saying if you had that conversation, this might not have happened. You might have had this conversation and it still might have happened. Because you might have been like, well, I'm sorry, babe, you should accept me for me. And it still might have happened. But what I'm trying to say is that I'm trying to understand why this is why this was easier for you to do than this, especially when this conversation.
I can't tell you why it was easier. Okay, it's just the way it went. Do you get what I'm saying? I've literally explained to you. I couldn't tell my ex-husband to his face that I don't find you attractive. I couldn't tell him that. And this is what I'm trying to say to you. I couldn't tell him that. If I'm even coming to you and I'm saying, babe, can we go to the gym? We've got a personal trainer. You're forgetting I told you he laughed at me for running in the rain. Do you understand? So now if I now tell you I'm not attracted to you, what's that going to do?
Why did you tell your husband that you're attracted to another man?
Because I told you I was on the edge at that point. It wasn't a conversation I was going to have. It was a conversation I felt like I have no choice but to have this conversation. But if it was my choice, I wouldn't tell you. Not all truth sets people free. Sometimes your truth exasperates someone's insecurities. They're not at a place to hear it. There's no point. I'm not here trying to be a menace to society. You understand? I was genuinely trying to manage a situation that I had no control over, a situation that I put myself in just in case anyone else wants to get on to me.
No, and I think
a situation that I take responsibility for.
I think where you need credit for sure, right? And this is why I asked. Where you need credit is that you did it before it happened.
No, I'm not asking for credit. Don't give me credit. No, please. No, honestly,
I'm not
don't give me credit.
Here, but I'm
not fishing for credit.
I didn't say you are.
But keep it. Honestly, I don't want it. Keep it. I don't want credit.
I think that
I'm not sitting here looking for a Blue Peter badge like it's cool.
I'm not trying to say that, right? Because you're being very open, honest, you're taking accountability, etc. Right? What I'm saying is you telling him that before it happened shows an intention of you trying to be open and honest with him to make it work. And I'm just saying, for me, I think, because at that point it hadn't happened yet. So I'm like, okay, that's an incredibly difficult conversation. And you did it then because, and correct me if I'm wrong, you did it then because you're like, I'm bringing this to you because I think this could be something that's going to jeopardize our relationship. And I'm like, okay, to me, this seems more difficult to have. And you had the ability and courage to do that.
It wasn't courage.
What was it?
It was fear. It was, I'm about to do a madness. I have to tell you this.
Okay.
This is what I'm saying, like, because you're obviously hearing the story in the sitting room, like, do you know what I mean? Just, it's like you're just turning a chapter. You're not thinking about the actual intricacies of being in a marriage, do you know what I mean? And you're with your partner. They've made it clear they don't want to lose weight. What are you gonna do? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying?
I'm not judging you.
You're thinking of it so much on principle, and this is such a harder conversation than that one. I cannot tell you why I was able to have this conversation and not that one. All I know is that that's how it went.
I think, I understand. I think understanding that part, and that's not even saying it's right or wrong. I think understanding that part.
Well, there was a point you were like, no, you're wrong. Like,
I didn't. No, I never used that word.
We'll roll the tape.
Did I say wrong? What did I say was wrong?
We'll roll the tape.
What did I say was wrong?
When you watch it back, you'll see there was a point you actually said, no, you're wrong.
What did I say was wrong?
You were going on about the whole, this conversation is harder than this conversation. And I'm just like, listen, whether the conversation's hard or easy, I did what I could.
I understand.
My ex-husband, there is no way that man could sit there. Don't know what, there's not even point in me trying to draw him out. But what I'm saying is there was no way that man sat there thinking that the marriage was perfect before he heard the news.
No one's saying that. And I'm not judging
and I
you,
can't lie to you. If my partner comes to me saying, babe, you know, the whole weight thing, that's enough for me to know, okay, my partner's not happy with my weight. That's enough. If your girlfriend came and said, listen, Kit, could we like in the gym, would you not think, okay, she's kind of trying to tell me something here?
Maybe I would.
You would.
Maybe
you've already displayed yourself as a man that you know how to hear someone. When
but you told me that I'm not like most men.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
So no, maybe every man would get that.
What? Okay, I'm confused now.
I'm saying listen, you like there's a level of subliminal messaging that can happen in that conversation. I'm saying maybe I would get it,
you
but
mean
not
to tell me
would.
if you're skipping through the daisies and living your life with your partner and they turn around and bring up your weight,
I think it's
something that
I think it's
could
different.
Be changed. You're telling me you're not gonna think, oh, this could be a
so
problem.
Here's what it is. If she's like, hey, you bring up your weight, etc., that could be I'm worried about your health, not that I'm not attracted to you anymore. If she said it's
a health scare is a easier conversation to have.
Okay, but I don't think she's
I'm worried about your health.
That doesn't mean. I'm not going to think that because if my health deteriorates, that she's then going to leave me or go elsewhere. So that's what I'm saying. It's different because if she's come from me like, oh, I've noticed and stuff like you're getting a bit out of shape. This isn't healthy. I'm like, okay, she's concerned for my health, not because it's affecting her draw to me. Mm-hmm. If she's saying like,
you don't think
this is affecting,
that would cross your mind. You don't think at all.
If
your girl was to bring up your weight, that you wouldn't think, oh, is she attracted to me? Sometimes a man can go and touch his wife and just her saying no, he's wondering if he's attracted to her, just from that small rejection.
Okay, but what
you're telling me if that partner then brings up your weight.
If she comes to me and she's saying about health stuff, about getting into shape, it could be because she's concerned about my health. Fine. Right? She's like, babe, I know you should stay on top of this. I'm doing this because I'm worried about your health. Fine. That is not the same as saying, this is making me not that attracted to you. Because if I heard that, 100%, I'd be like, shit.
You would.
I'd have to make a decision. Yeah, but I have to hear that though. I would have to hear that for me to know that's what it is. Otherwise, I might just think she's just looking out for my health. Not because she's not attracted to me anymore.
Listen, my ex-husband knew. Okay?
We don't know what he knew. Only he can speak on that.
Fair enough. Bring him on the show. I'll give you his number.
Here's the only thing I would ask in that sense. I know you said like you set the boundary differently.
Mm-hmm.
If your relationship, if a man came to you with something that would suggest that he's potentially going to step out, how would you handle that situation, being on the receiving end?
I'll do everything I can to make the relationship work.
Okay.
Everything in my power. And that's because of my experience that I've learned that. Because I have seen, for example, women do things where I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you put your man through that? You're not worried that they could step out. You're not worried that they could go elsewhere because, you know, it's like I'm trying to give okay, the most typical example, for example, that a lot of women do is the sex thing, like withholding sex for a while from their partner.
Sure.
And, you know, for me, I'm just like, you have to be careful. You have to be so careful. Like, you have to be so intentional in relationships. You just do. If my partner comes and says there's an issue, I'm working on it. I'm going to do everything I can. I know I can't give you 100% of what you need, but I'm going to work to give you as much as I can. You know, let's just try and get to 100. But
that's what building a life partner and that relationship is about.
That's literally what. Then this is the thing. I'm not here to show off about a failed marriage and be like, yeah, I'm out here living my life in these streets or anything like that. It's not that. I've made mistakes. I was intentional in those mistakes. And I've learned a lot from them. And going to therapy has kind of helped me, like I said, get back in the driver's seat of my life. And now everything I do is with intention. People even say to me, Loyce, you're too introspective now. Everything has to have a meaning. Everything is deep now. Everything, do you know what I mean? Because I don't live life being ignorant in any way anymore. So yeah, there was a lot I could have nipped in the bud with that guy. He wasn't worth it at all. Yeah, but I've learned and I've grown. And yeah, the whole, if my partner cheated, I wouldn't take them back.
Under any circumstances? Wow.
I wouldn't. Partly because I'm an anxious attacher, so I know what my brain will do to me already. It will never let this rest. I will never be able to trust you again. I won't. Nah, I couldn't do it. But also, yeah, it's just that sense of violation. Like, I'm aware of the violation I caused against my ex-husband. Like, him not wanting to be with me, I wouldn't want to be with me either. Do you know what I mean? Like, the pain that it's caused him, like, I completely understand it. That's why I'm like, if then someone does that to me, yeah, I'm going to feel the same emotions, the pain, the betrayal. Like, I couldn't take you back. I couldn't. I didn't expect my husband to take me back. If anything, I apologized, of course, for what I did, but I wasn't asking for the marriage to continue. I didn't. I didn't want it to.
Is there... You don't have to answer this. Was there a part of you that engaged in the decision that you made because it became a reason for you to leave? It would give a reason for the marriage to end.
If there was such a feeling, it would be so deep in my subconscious because I didn't feel that yes, I have a reason now for him to end it.
No, yeah.
So maybe subconsciously.
Yeah, I hear that. Listen, we appreciate your honesty and being transparent. It's not all the time you can get someone who can talk so openly and be open about decisions that they wish they hadn't made. So we thank you for that. No one is perfect. And I just want you to know there was no judgment on my side. I was trying to genuinely understand. But we appreciate you for coming on. So thank you for being open with us.
I appreciate that.
If people want to find you, where can they find you?
My socials are Loyce's Gram on Instagram, and Loyce is Talk on TikTok, because I can't be bothered to think about names. Yeah, I can't be bothered.
We
I
love
can't be
that.
bothered. No, I appreciate that. I mean, listen, I'm not a P. Diddy. Do you get what I'm saying? That's going to be doing the truth is going to come
you have a 100
out.
there.
Like,
Go on,
yeah,
P. Diddy.
like
You have a
the truth
100.
is going to all come out. And then when it comes out, now you're in Bali telling everyone, yeah, you know, I apologize. Like, no. Derek Jackson bought his wife with a bonnet on her head and made her pretend she was still happy to be with him. That's what men do when they do a madness. I'm not going to lie. Let me just take this moment just to say, listen.
Oh, here we go.
I'm not proud of myself.
We're about to end so well.
I know, I'm not proud of myself, but I just have to be honest, innit?
Always be honest. Always be honest. Well, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, if you want to see some dancing, Loyce does some dancing online. So, you know, she was talking about her being a dancer. So if you want to see what that's about, go check it out. But thank you for coming on. We appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And I will see you in the next episode.